Usyk is the greatest heavyweight of this era.
Man, oh, what do you do here?
I want to start with a little fun game. It's called Hit or Miss.
All right.
So if you like it, it's going to be a hit. You agree. And if you disagree, it's not the vibe. It's going to be a miss. Okay.
Right.
So the first one is, we're going to start fun. I just actually asked this to Blair the other day, and I told him, I was like, I feel like you know a lot about a person based off this question.
Uh-oh.
It's stupid. Pineapple on pizza. Hit or miss? Okay.
Listen, all right.
Exactly.
Pineapples will infect the pizza, okay? You can't even get half and half because that pineapple over there is going to affect the rest.
You see it the same way I do.
Yeah.
No, literally. No, Blair said yes to the pineapple. I was like,
he said
that
you
tells
find
me.
out a lot
Yeah,
about
I'm not sure about it.
That's funny.
What
That's a
about
good one.
trash talking before fights? Hit or miss?
If you know what you're doing, that's a hit all day and all night. I think even though I wasn't notorious, I didn't really do a lot of trash talking before fights. I always liked the guys that were creative and crafty with it. I like the guys that came off at the top of the head. Weren't too many of them. First one that comes to mind is Adrian Bronner. He's got a very special mind, and he's not afraid to express himself. And whenever he was in the fight, I think most people were really excited about the build up and the press conferences and stuff like that. If you can make me laugh, if you can make a lot of people laugh, and it ain't too serious, those are to me are the best press conferences. Those are the ones that are interesting.
Would you say Adrian Broner is still the best currently at that in boxing?
I mean Roy could talk his stuff. James Toney could talk his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of guys out there that could really talk it, but for me, in my era especially, I feel like AB is it definitely the guy in my era.
Social media callouts, hit or miss?
I always like the moment when I got in the ring against Danny Garcia, and I like reminding people about that moment because that was a special moment for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's something that isn't seen very often. Usually what happens is TV makes this make it up, and nobody knew I was getting in the ring that night. And so when I got in the ring, it was like full force, go at this guy, don't get too close, you know what I mean? Say what needs to be said and be done with it. I mean, it was like picture perfect. But I've really never, outside of that, never really been one to call someone out. Again, if you are trolling, I know that's what they call it on social media, and you know how to make and do that stuff classy, and you like I give you a prime one. Caleb Plant was trolling David Benavidez. Took the website and was selling his
like David Benavidez.
and was selling his merchandise on the Benavidez platform. And to me, that was classic.
Yeah.
That gets a thumbs up. But when you just yapping at the gums and don't nobody care, no, don't go for it.
That's true. There's a difference. There's a difference. Does Canelo beat Crawford at 168? Hit or miss?
That is such a 50-50 fight.
I'm
going right here. And let me back this up because I know people don't like to hear 50-50 and they know that Crawford's my boy, so on and so forth. Styles make fights. And I mean, both guys have a style to beat the other. I know what everybody's looking at. They're thinking that Crawford's not strong enough. We saw him against another 154-pound fighter, and he ate a lot of right hands from this guy. So let's also say that he seems pretty durable at 154, but he also didn't get the job done the way that he has in the last 8 years or something crazy like that. He hasn't gone the distance in 9 years. So it's something crazy like that. That doesn't mean he doesn't have the punching power.
Exactly.
I mean, styles make fights. This guy never gave him that moment, that shot. That guy was smart enough, and and just styles make fights. Moving up and going against Canelo, someone who's going to be right in front of you. Canelo's going to cover up. He's going to let you bang on him, and he's going to try to rip off. But Crawford's fast. He can get in and get out. I do believe Crawford can win the decision, and with Crawford, we've learned, don't blink.
Oh, yeah, that part.
While it seems boring for quite a few rounds, and then all of a sudden it just
bam.
ends. So.
Do you think we'll ever end up getting that fight?
I don't think we'll get Canelo Alvarez in the ring with Crawford.
I know, I wasn't thinking so either. I know Crawford like really wants it though.
Yeah.
Like I even heard he was saying he'd rather verse Canelo than even like become undisputed in the 154. Yeah. Do you think we can make like a bigger fight than that right now, or what would be like the dream matchup in boxing right now?
That to me is one of the biggest fights to be made. I feel like Tank and Shakur is on paper the biggest fight that can be made, and also will sell and be like a really big fight. I'm not saying it'll sell more than Canelo and Crawford, but in terms of how close that fight is, another 50-50 fight, both guys in their primes, you know, and that whole makeup, I really like that fight. I think that in the boxing world, for boxing fans, for sports fans, that is the best fight that could be made in boxing right now.
Do you think we will get that one?
Yeah, I think we'll get that one. It's just a matter of time.
Gervonta Davis is the best in the lightweight division. Boop. Boop. Yep. Okay.
While I really like Shakur, and I still think, you know, it's kind of up in the air, the thing you can't deny is how dominant Tank has been and how consistent he's been. I think the most consistent fighter at 135 as well. So consistency speaks a lot. Without consistency, you aren't successful.
That's so true. What about Ryan Garcia makes a successful comeback in 2024?
Good Lord. Why would... No, I'm not... That's 50-50. Let's be honest. Like, between now and tomorrow, he may end up doing something completely different and, you know, just deciding to do something outside of anybody, with something that nobody could expect. You know, 2025 is a little ways away from now, but we'll see.
I don't know.
Is he suspended to like June or July of 2025?
Yeah, I think, like about a year, so it'll be about right there.
As my dad says, a long way from the lip to the cup.
Uh-huh.
I should have expected a Ryan Garcia question.
Of course. Usyk is the greatest heavyweight of this era.
Man.
Hey.
I got to do this. I got to. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Oh, what do you do here?
The 50-50.
Listen. Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight champion fighter of our era, even though he lost to, and now it's going to sound like an excuse.
It's hard. Well, how do you see the rematch going?
I don't know.
Isn't that really hard?
Listen, it sounds like an excuse, but these are the facts, okay? These are the facts. Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight of our era, and I understand what amazing what Alexander Usyk did. But you had a Mack truck against another Mack truck three times. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury went at it. It sounds like an excuse, and I'm sorry. But if Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder didn't do this 3 times, I don't think that fight with Alexander Usyk would have went the way it went.
That's a good breakdown.
The bottom line, we can't make excuses because he decided to get in the ring. As long as you decide to be active and you decide to get in the ring, whatever happens, happens. But those are the facts of life. Mm-hmm. If every time we leave a piece of us in the ring, every time we get in the ring, well, how much did he leave in the ring in 3 fights with Deontay Wilder?
I know.
So he's amazing for who he is and how he's been able to do what he's done. Alexander Usyk is amazing for who he is and what he's been able to do as well. But I just feel like if that fight had happened sooner, I just don't think it would have gone the way that it went.
Are you someone who wants to see the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury still?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you see that one going?
Especially with the way Anthony Joshua's been able to kind of come back. I'm really hoping Daniel Dubois comes into the ring. Daniel Dubois, comes to the ring like really focused and like amped up and ready to fight. Mm-hmm. He's a really good boxer. And I've enjoyed seeing both of these guys kind of come back up here. And now they've actually met one another, which I think is really cool. So I think that should be a really good fight. But I understand, like, over there in England, this whole Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua thing. It's outaged itself. I get it. But I still want to see
I think all the fans still want it. We're like, please.
I used to still really want to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, but not so much anymore.
I know. What do you think he's done after his last performance?
I think that he's done. Yeah.
I mean, he got in the ring with like all the biggest people though. I feel like that was pretty cool.
Deontay Wilder, in the class of his own for a lot of reasons.
Exactly.
This dude was in college playing ball and had to take care of his daughter and said, I'm going to box, and turned it into everything that he turned.
Are you serious? I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Respect. That's respect to like a whole different level. He really made that happen then.
Yeah, made
Good
it
for
happen.
him.
Ended up making the Olympic team in 08 and went on to, but see, these are the stories that should have been told repetitively.
David Benavidez can beat Canelo at 168. Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I was looking at the fight in my mind the other day, and I said, you know what? This fight might actually be a little closer than most people think. And I was on record for thinking the David Benavidez washes Canelo Alvarez. I thought it might be competitive for a couple of rounds, but then I felt like he's going to do what we've seen him do so many times. But I was looking at it in my mind the other day. I said, you know what? If Canelo gets in the ring with David Benavidez, we shouldn't be surprised at whatever the outcome is. So I think that fight's much closer than people think it's going to be. But I do have, right now, I have David Benavidez beating Canelo Alvarez.
Last time we talked, I think it was the Canelo fight. You were like, I'm going on the record for saying the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight doesn't happen. And then it got pushed back. So I was like, Shawn, do you think it's actually going to happen now?
The fight never made sense to me. And I don't know anything. I haven't spoken to anyone. When the fight got announced, I was like, okay, so this is just for hype and for pub. And then they actually started to promote it and all that kind of stuff. I said, this isn't happening. This fight's not gonna happen. It doesn't make sense to me. So.
And now it's professional too, which is crazier.
Yeah.
I know. We'll see. We'll see.